So this poem is called Handwriting. My mom wrote us letters, and as I think of the letters she wrote, they seemed so much like a journal entry I would write or have written. And then I think of her beautiful penmanship, her handwriting. I recall as a child being mesmerized by her, my mom's lovely handwriting, not even fully comprehending the letter she wrote, but admiring how she formed her letters and her words, how it seemed as though you could feel her love for us from the way she wrote. And to know that paper, that letter was in her hands, and that she wrote it for us, for me. No matter what, keeping a tether between her and us always. A letter here and there, a phone call when it worked, and special trips to Red Bank, New Brunswick, to see her, our mom, with Migaju and Suki. And even though she's no longer here, I can still feel that connection, that tether, full of love and precious memories, strengthened by photos of us with her, our mom, and with letters curated with love from her, our mom. Words that can last a lifetime and even longer, reminding me that I have all the answers and can overcome any obstacles. You wrote this to me in a letter 13 years ago, and you have been gone for 8 years now. These letters you wrote bring me back to you. I continue to admire your penmanship, your handwriting, and I can still feel the love coming off of the page, as if you're pouring your love into me, into this moment. As I read your words, reminding me that I have all the answers and can overcome any obstacles, and that I come from very strong women, my grandmothers, my great-grandmothers, and so on, and that I will always be with her, my mom, no matter where I go, because she, my mom, will always be with me, as she, my mom, is always a part of my being. Even my own handwriting reminds me of her handwriting. We have different styles, but our styles are both beautiful in their own ways, just like our spirits are, similar and different, but also beautifully bright. I carry your spirit with me, continuing to always be tethered to you through love, carrying you with me and reminding me that I have all the answers and can overcome any obstacles. Yisalu, which means I love you in Mi'kmaq. And that's a little picture of my mom.
This was during a time where my ex and I were fighting a lot. And I was trying to convince him that it would be okay. I'm afraid they can never be rebuilt. I'm afraid you're wrong. Watch as my fingers stitch your heart neatly back together, as my kisses lay calmly on your calamity. Let my fingertips dance over bruises and scars. Shut your eyes as my lips brush away your tears. We are in ruins, once a mess, now the casualties of war. But among the gunfire and grenades, take my shaking hands in yours and watch the way our scattered stars collide. Do not roam lost, my love. Roam endlessly with me instead.
Okay, I'm just doing Christmas things this time. And a few years ago, I wrote what I called a triptych, which was a poem in 3 parts. I'm just going to read the first part of that, which is Christmas Eve. I forgot to count to 5, didn't I, Ryan? Well, Christmas Eve. Lying in bed, the child listens to the murmur of voices from the living room. Her beloved grandparents, whom the whole family had joyfully picked up from the bustling train station the day before, were there, chatting with her parents as they savored some quiet, still, together time on this cold Christmas Eve. The girl is sleepy, but wants to stay awake just in case she might hear the ringing of sleigh bells and perhaps a soft thud on the roof as the anticipated visitor arrives. She knows he is on the way. Throughout the evening, the radio, tuned to CBC, had been broadcasting updates from the dew line on the flight of the red-clad, white-bearded old man in his reindeer-led magic sleigh. She knows exactly when it had taken off from the North Pole. With radio, belief was so easy, imagination so richly sparked. Christmas Eve, such a special time in those far-off days. The tree, a real one, of course, had been set up in the corner of the living room, where it now gleamed with colored lights, fragile ornaments hung with ribbons on the spindly branches, paper chains handmade, and tinsel, so much tinsel, picking up the light and spreading it wide. The house smelled like Christmas, the wild forest scent of the tree, mince pies, shortbread cookies, gingerbread and eggnog, homemade, of course. Everything had been prepared for Santa's visit. A glass of milk and a small plate of cookies set out just for him, amazingly always gone in the morning. The evening had been about family, as each opened one gift from under the tree, usually a useful one for the children. A new dressing gown, pajamas, slippers, or some such thing to be donned at once for the rest of the evening's activities. They'd gathered around the old upright piano, singing carols as the mother played, voices young and old, making beautiful harmony in the closeness of this night. They'd passed the box of chocolates, maybe even twice, cracked a lot of nuts, had some cocoa and a cookie, and then the children were sent to bed. Sleep comes easily after all to the contented, expectant child.
This poem is called One More Day. I know several people who are having a really hard time over this Christmas holiday, and it's not a very happy time at all. So this is written in their honor and with a hope that they can hold on one more day. Don't give up. I know it's so hard, but where there's life, there's hope. Stay alive one more day, and then again, one more day. Do whatever it takes to move toward happiness. Okay, we'll settle for peace. Rest now, sleep now, hold on to your pillow, hold on to your blankie, hold on to yourself, your precious self. Hold on for one more day, and then for another day, and then again for one more day after that. The only thing life promises is change. Stick around. Don't miss the change that's a coming. From today toward happiness. Okay, we'll settle for peace. You are so precious. Dear struggling human being, hold on, stay alive one more day, okay?
I've been accepting the challenge that Rattle Poetry puts out for every week. You have a prompt and then you write something according to the prompt. So on December 12th, the prompt was a winter's walk. Just a walk around your neighborhood, but mine was called a winter's walk. Joining me in this white plain of tiny brilliant prisms are two cats, Sense and Adventure. Curious, hoping for mice, they run ahead. With our neighbor, we share two sibling pairs. Ours, the females, stalk every moving thing, scattering snow with her huge wild paws, then chasing pea-sized snowballs. Bangles, our half Bengal cat, pounces on imaginary prey as I crunch along. Her cousin Thunderbolt, daily escaping the neighbor's children's clutching claws, watches from safety atop an upended log, wary of my human presence. His sister Fluffy, our soft as silk Angora, surveys the scene before she joins the phantom chase. Her paw prints create a dimpled zigzag trail, unlike the rabbit tracks of paired forefeet. Blue-gray hues of pockmarked snow herald the presence of our local mule deer herd, whose hooves gash ski marks in the deeper drifts. In winter's hunger, the herd survives on our hardy evergreens, which we augment with their favorite root vegetable scraps. Twin half-grown fawns tug out our shrubs, and who, pregnant from the recent rut, chews her cud and dozes. Nearby, roaring their self-important rage, tires stuck in muddy drifts frighten the deer, who slew and skid across the icy road. Clutching tree limbs, the startled cats survey their realm, shattered now into a million icy pieces.
This is a piece I wrote a couple weeks ago. There we go. What if I live a life I lived before? What if I was aware of my encore? And I remember every secret behind the door. What if, what if my first glance you didn't see? What if your first dance was not with me? What if you had not become my destiny? What if, what if we just die without regrets, and there are no more tete-a-tetes, and only menthol cigarettes? What if your bed's an army cot, and the temperature's too hot? What if there ain't no parking spot? What if what if you had not become my destiny? What if, what if we just die with our regrets, and there are no more tete-a-tetes, and only menthol cigarettes? What if your bed's an army cot, and the temperature's too hot? What if there ain't no parking spot? What if your only suit doesn't fit? What if Joseph climbed up from the pit? What if there is nothing else? This is it. What if? What if? What if? What if? What if? What if?
Well, this is one I really wanted to read for you guys tonight, but I'll put a little, it's a song that I've never performed yet. This is the next decade song. So the first was the start of the pattern, and this one is called Like a Lion. I wrote it, my birthday is on this year was on the 8th day of spring. And I wrote it the night of my birthday, keeping tradition alive, and I'll make it, I'm going to read part of it, and some of it is just has to be, it has rhythm to it, I've almost worked it out on the guitar, but not quite yet, and it will be performed soon, but yeah, it means a lot to me. It's a special song, and it's called Like a Lion, because on the day that I wrote this, I was supposed to have some friends over in the backyard and have a couple margaritas in the backyard, and it was one of those crazy Lethbridge days there was like trees being blown down the street, and the prairies were on fire, and there was a wind warning, snow squall, and wildfire. So it was just the craziest day, and that's what inspired this song. And that was my entry into the new decade.
I remember that day, and I have a screenshot of the 3 warnings.
Yeah, that was my friends were calling me like, what are we doing? Are we coming over in the backyard? I don't think we can. So we ended up, Steve made me tacos and margaritas in his garage. Okay, here it goes, Like a Lion. Begin the new decade with a weather warning triple threat. Dun, 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 dun. Wildfire, snow squall, wind warning, past the alcohol. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, hear March roar. Oh, hear March roar. Yes, hear March roar. Out like a lion she calls, mixed with my amour. Oh, my amour, Alberta, saucy minx throwing curveballs. Dun, 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 dun. My imaginary day of smitten sunshine. It's dancing over faces, drink it up like luscious aged wine. Times accumulation, second digit flip. Changing grand addition, advancing era straight off the airstrip. Oh, begin the new decade with a weather warning triple threat. Dun, 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 dun. Wildfire, snow squall, wind warning, past the alcohol. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, hear March roar. Oh, hear March roar. Oh, hear March roar. Out like a lion she calls, mixed with my amour. Oh, my amour, Alberta, sly fox throwing curveballs. Dun, 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 dun. On this 8th day of spring, she does not come gently. Beauty gracing life, never fleeting, it's completing. 'Tis my fire's kindling. Awe is endless, consequently. And now I'm singing. Out like a lion she calls. Out like a lion she calls. Out like a lion she calls. Oh, hear March roar. Yes, hear March roar. Can you hear March roar? Out like a lion she calls. Dun, 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 dun. Travel to this new age brackets category into foreign territory. Shall I leave in secret or divulge? stamped life's password on this gnarly day. Such forces at play as the squalling weather hisses and brawls. And to these past 10 years, which have racked up countless lessons, gathered gratitude from growth, and gave my dreams direction. Out like a lion I call, out like a lion I call, out like a lion I call, out like a lion I call.
I'm going to read a poem that I wrote in September of this year. Just give me one moment. I had it open, and then I put it beside me. Okay. So what I did is with this poem, I sometimes do watercolor painting stuff, and I tried to like write it over top.
Wow.
Anyways, it's just cute. That's all. It's called What a Privilege It Is to See You Bare. What a privilege it is to see you bare, not even a speck to cover you up. I marvel at all of you, every detail, noticing how unpredictable your world must be. But maybe it's not. Perhaps you know many of the cycles, as you are immortal. What a privilege it is to see you bare. There is no light to take away from your beauty, as your beauty comes from the space you hold. You're the home for all these stars, constellations, space rocks, and so much more. And when you are bare, their light shines through. What a privilege it is to see you bare, especially tonight, as the Perseid meteor shower passes by, meteor after meteor, striking, shooting, and soaring above us, some even erupting into magical like fireballs. Some you can hear as they shoot past us, leaving us breathless. What a privilege it is to see you bare.
The power of music. Okay. The power of music. When my words fail me, I play some music for you in hopes to reconnect. But with all its beauty, how can we understand Verdi, Lakme, or Shostakovich? We don't speak their languages. But music is more than words. It has its own heart and soul, and its depth moves us beyond all language, religion, and beliefs. It moves us in magical ways and connects us by the heart. Then the meaning of music. Oh, I keep messing this up. I'm gonna start all over. The power of music. When my words fail me, I play some music for you in hopes to reconnect. But with all its beauty, how can we understand Verdi, Lakme, or Shostakovich? We don't speak their languages. But music is more than words. It has its own heart and soul, and its depths moves us beyond all language, religion, and beliefs. It moves us in magical ways and connects us by the heart. Then the meaning of words fade, because music is more powerful than words, logic, and thoughts.
This one I wrote last year called a COVID Christmas, and I think it's just as appropriate this year, so I'm going to read it. And now comes Christmas, its yearly cycle rounding out the year in festivity, color, and light. But this is Christmas 2020, coming in times unlike anything the world has seen before. This is COVID Christmas, threatening a bleak prospect of darkness, depression, and death. Christmas is always a melancholy time for many. This year, those many will be in the millions. For them, this Christmas comes with lack, loss, grief, fear, hopelessness. For others who claim no fear, it comes with anger, denial, and defiance, with no concern for peace on earth, goodwill to all. A COVID Christmas, no gatherings, no parties, no I'll be home for Christmas. Most will have a leaner, sparser observance than their usual fate, less food, less spending, less excess. Is this really so terrible? For Christmas is about the first Noel, that first Christmas which came about in poverty and hardship, and for the new family, imminent danger. Yet even then, the night sky was riven with angels singing Gloria, heralding a new world born that day, a world which showed humanity a new way of being. And so, in spite of all that's wrong, I'll celebrate this COVID Christmas, for hope must be renewed, values and priorities reassessed. We can see this COVID Christmas as a portal. With myriad others, I'll stand before it, seeing once again that we could create a new world where every creature is a neighbor, where every neighbor is loved as ourselves, where peace and goodwill come first in every heart. So let us transcend our despair, let our hope be renewed, our priorities reset. May we all hear herald angels singing Gloria.
Okay, I wrote a couple new ones this month. One on the solstice. It's called Solstice. Gray days, black night, solstice promise of light not yet visible. I'm so tired I need to hibernate, for just a while surrender to the silence. So many, so cold, so many, so far away from the season's cheer. Yet we keep on keeping on, looking for the star, waiting for the sun, getting quiet, getting real. Cup of tea, comfy chair, candle lit, dear friend here. Tonight, I appreciate all the little wonders that come into my days, and I rest in the dark, renewing my energy to rise, to move, to stretch into the new hope, the new year.
Okay, so I've been writing poems each week on news items. So the one I wrote December 13th was about this comical juxtaposition of Biden having to release his half the gasoline in their national reserves because the price of gasoline was too high at the pumps, and Canada, running short of maple syrup, had to release half their national supply of maple syrup. So it just struck a funny bone. So here we go. What constitutes a national emergency? Cranky motorists, the president's worst nightmare. High pump prices, say he doesn't care. That bodes problems at the polls. His popularity just took a mighty toll. He releases 50 million barrels from oil reserves. Hopeful lowered prices will return the praise he thinks he deserves. But the GOP counters, it's time to conserve, saying Biden's lost his political nerve. While next door, Canada's in a big snit because Quebec's weather hasn't been fit. They needed warm days with frozen nights to make maple syrup run just right. The huge maple syrup cartel has just caved, releasing sweet reserves, but half were still saved. 50 million gallons for the shop's shelves, just in time for Santa. And the two emergencies are averted. In one, to make their waffles taste like dessert. The other, their climate policy to revert. There'll be no more maple syrup if Earth's an arid desert.
Kind of the black sheep in this group because most of my poems rhyme. It's traditional poetry. I like the constraints that using meter and rhyme give me, and I find that it inspires me in the imagery I use and that sort of thing. So it's something you might pick up on when I'm reading my poems. So this is a poem that I wrote almost 2 years ago, actually, called Chains. Shackled and fettered in chains, sacrificed body and brains, hooked up straight into my vein, labor gets sucked down the drain, only for capital gain, ignoring my illness and pain, begging and pleading in vain, silenced each time I complain, speak up considered profane, hours each day on the train, ever extinguishing flame, my number is now my new name, whispers in secret start swaying, conspirators also are saying, all of us no longer playing, time for the head to start paying. Together our voices outweighing, as long as we're standing and staying, our messages more strongly conveying. Power and strength we're displaying, this isn't pretend we're portraying, no longer on us are they preying, instead they are cowering and praying, the shackles and fetters decaying.
This one's in my head. It's one I haven't read per se. It's usually a song, but I'm going to read it by memory and hope it comes out the way it usually does when I sing it. I started a tradition writing a song for every changing decade, and this was the very first of that tradition, written, well, quite a while ago, over probably 11 years ago, or yeah, almost now. It's called the Age Tune, spoken. I age to be better. I speak the truth. With all my fury, I still grasp on to my oh so fading youth. I age to be better. I speak the truth. With all my fury, I still grasp on to my oh so fading youth. A state of mind, that's what they say. Perhaps I'm like a white ripened grape, and my wine's made oh so much better by age. For I'm not old, but I am wiser than I was. Forever I am learning to rise yet one clear cut above than years before. And I am proud of where I'm at as another birthday prepares to jack up my year's score. Oh, I'm proud of where I'm at as another birthday prepares to jack up my life's score. And then there's some oohs and oohs. I'm trying to remember it. And so I'll give to you a little piece of advice. This is something you can't change. It's a crucial part of life. There ain't no elixir to keep these wrinkles away. Well, there's plastic surgery, I suppose, but if I get into that, the whole moral of this song will go astray. And so let me get right back into the point which must be made. Don't get all wrapped up about it. Admit that there's no way to dodge it. We're all getting more ancient every day. Live your life the best that you can. I said, live your life the very best that you can. We only get one shot on this earth, that is. So age to be better and speak the truth. And with all your fury, try to grasp on to your oh so fading youth. A state of mind. You're as old as how you feel. Take care of your mind, your soul, your body, and time's withers shall be concealed. A state of mind. Stay young at heart, my dear. And at the end of all your days, you'll look back and say, damn, those were great years.
This is a song called Christmas Ain't Christmas No More. Christmas ain't Christmas no more. It don't snow the right kind of snowflakes without you. All the carols that they sing sure don't have the Christmas ring as they did for you and I before. Christmas ain't Christmas no more. All those Christmas tidings just don't feel the same. It's a wonderful life is playing, but it's not for me, I'm saying. Oh, Christmas ain't Christmas no more. All the lit up Christmas trees and the smiling families and the happy reveries are just things to drink away. How many times I took a pass on you or midnight mass. Hell, I'm always such an ass. Now I'm alone on Christmas Day. All those lit up Christmas trees and the smiling families and the happy reveries are just things to drink away. How many times I took a pass on you or midnight mass. Hell, I'm always such an ass. Now I'm alone on Christmas Day. Christmas ain't Christmas no more. Seems just like any other lousy time. Like the day my old dog died and I huddled up and cried. Oh, Christmas ain't Christmas no more, no more. Oh, Christmas just ain't Christmas no more.
The World Wide Web. Don't tell me what you had for dinner, and don't show me your expensive brand name clothes or accessories. I don't care about them. I don't care about your opinion of corrupt politicians or the dysfunction in the world either. Tell me about the day you carried a friend home on your back because she broke her arm. Nobody made you a hero for it, but that is something I care about. I also want to know about the time you had enough of the burdens and hardness. I also want to know about the time you had enough of the burdens and hardships life presented you. You felt you just can't take it anymore, and you were ready to scream, but something inside you stopped you from screaming, and calmness surrounded you. I want to hear about how you reached calmness. I want to hear about the time you stopped cars on the street from driving over a little bird confused on its maiden flight, moments after leaving its nest. Show me a picture of your elderly relative gleaming from joy because you visited him or her. That's what I want to see. And when you focus on the things that matter and what you do makes your world a better place, no matter how small or big that world may be, then the web of the world will widen and you can smile because you did what you had to do.
I decided to read this one because of Bev's poem about the deer. So this is called Christmas Presents, Presence. Christmas Presents. Expect a brown Christmas, the forecast had said. But during the night, the fog crept in and left its mark in glistening rime on trees, grass, and window panes. And so we woke to the best kind of white Christmas, nothing to shovel, no impassable roads, but lustrous shining, scintillating sparkle, brilliant light on this day of celebration. I went to pull the blinds against the glare, but stopped short at what I saw. Just out the window, a few short feet away, 3 does feeding under our mountain ash. The deer being 3 was not lost on me, and I stood entranced by beauty, but also by awareness of something powerful saying, look, here is a message or a sign, should I care to heed it. There's power in 3, wholeness in diversity, so many triads, trios, trinities in myth and story, 3 fates, triple goddess, 3 wishes, 3 phases of the moon, the first number described by the word all. As well, the deer were does, a triple feminine, gentle strength, grace and beauty, sisterhood, harmony, power in togetherness, a symbol of nature's power not easily subdued. In China, the word for deer is homonym to the word for abundance. In Christian legend, the deer denotes God's taking care of his children. I felt my heart lift and took this as a sign of hope for days to come. The lower berries on the tree were long gone, previously grazed or blown away, but there was much for forage. One determined doe rose on her fragile seeming back legs, found her balance, then reached up for the treat she sought. They fed contentedly for quite a while, and I, standing out of time, observed. This presence, this gift under the tree outside, complemented completely the presence, the gifts, wrapped and waiting under the tree within.
We have deer in our yard all the time now too. They're eating the crab apples from our crab apple tree. And what's also so funny is that we can now pull up in the car on the parking pad right in front of our house, which is like 8 feet away from the deer. And as long as it's us who live here, they kind of recognize us and they just stay right there while we get out of the car and go into the house. I really love those deer. Anyway, this is my poem. This is one I haven't read for a while. It's 6 years old now. It's called The More I Know, The More I Don't Know. The more I know, the more I don't know. I don't know who or what source is, but I do know there is love here in this world and compassion. So to you, whoever you are, that is wellspring of love. Know that I am devoted to nurturing and expressing loving kindness and spreading it as far as I can reach. May I always remember this and choose this when distraction and fears tempt me to succumb to the moment. May I be a hollow bone through which compassion can flow. May I be an ear for the confused or fearful. May I be a guide for those lost. May hope flow through me to those who despair. And may I choose always to allow beauty to well up within me, among us. Open to mystery, May I live a conscious, centered life. And where there is suffering or oppression, may I remember to make justice and bear witness with compassion. May I share my gifts in deeply meaningful and healing ways. May I find my beloveds and they find me. And may all of us have access to all that we need to thrive, to create beauty and love in this sometimes heartbreaking world. May this be so.
I have another one. This is an older one that I found. I'm not sure if I've read it before or not, but we'll go with it. I suppose I had darker poetry tonight. This one does not have a title. Okay. It's ripping open again. It's pouring, gushing blood, and it feels so good to feel again. This I know, this is familiar, lost and alone, this is where I belong. My romanticism has brought me here to die, alone, cold, broken, empty, except for the loneliness. It curls around my heart and squeezes, comforting me with the presence of pain's embrace. It may be hard to breathe, but I'm no longer alone. The cold is creeping back in. The relief of numbness ensues, not enough to forget its existence, but enough to dull the void. This massive, screaming chasm, how I have missed you. All is hidden in the blackness of your shadows. No more pretending under glaring lights. Relief to finally let go. Let the tears flow. No one will see them here. My screams will go unheard, absorbed into this tangible darkness. I disturb no one in my agony. I fight being alone, but isolation is what I crave in this state. Bring me your worst. I cannot feel it here. Let me bleed. No one can see it. Spilling, staining the ground. Wrap me with the fingers of death. Hold me in his hands. Walk me to the edge. Show me how it all ends. Then take me back again into the blinding oblivion of the darkness and the cold. Pain. I still feel the pain. Today is not the day it ends.
I only brought one tonight because I guess I should make a little announcement. I've been really immersed for the last couple of months working with my editors on an essay I'm writing for an anthology that's being published by U of A Press. It's about, and it's called Appearing and Disappearing. A poet gets up from the table, and it's about my brain injury and concussion, and it's and it actually mentions owl poetry, so I should tell you that. Anyway, it's coming out in 2021, so I've been really busy. And then I started to work on my novel again, which The Swedish Annas, which is about my great-grandmother and my grandmother, who were a pair of Swedish women who were, well, you had to know you had to know the Annies to meet. And my mom gave me some letters to help me with the novel, and they're in Swedish, and buried in these letters were letters in Swedish by Andreas, who was my great-grandfather, whom we called Andrew, who was called before he died in 1926, when he was dying in the Edmonton General Hospital. And Andreas was actually kind of a bad man. Anna and the two Annas had actually left him just prior to dying. And when he begged them to come home, they thought he was just manipulating them. And so this haunted my grandmother for the rest of her life. And so Andreas wants to be in my book. So this is a poem about Andreas. Andreas. You're a Viking ship on a foggy night, adrift in us, forgotten, not quite. One silver straight arrow in a quiver of yellow papers with your handwriting on it remains. Shouting, if you ever had a father, come home. At your wife and at your child. You haunted them from the shadows of your pain and your forever living words. And us, too, though we mostly didn't know it. Oblivious, barely knowing that your success at plunder came from rendering yourself asunder. Your fortune is alive. We are more than you ever imagined that you could be when you gambled against destiny, trying on identities that never fit you right. Soldier, sailor, huckster, farmer, drunkard, shyster, husband, father, never visible. From the ship you took and the land you couldn't finish clearing, or even the stall where you sold fish by the wharf, but still moving like a mist through time. Your voice. A foghorn searing, breaking me far and deep, in a language Granny tried to teach me over sandwiches and milky tea. Far away and long ago, far, Marmar's far.
Unbeknownst to you, I am swaying on the rocks at the bottom of your pond. I can see the veins in the lily pads as if they are beating hearts, and maybe they are. And I know something that you don't. I know that the first of us were gods, dripping in ichor and teeming with thousands of lives. Thousands and thousands of lives. We lived as kings in robes of velvet purple, falling desperately from day into night, arms into arms, as sure-footed as a toddler and just as wise. We lived as workers, with hard hands and untrained minds who could look into the sky and have no name for the swooping of a dove as it crashes, as Icarus crashed back to earth. Maybe he flew high only to burn, but at least he flew higher than you. Success has never been stagnant, measured in a forever no. We were gods, and now we aren't, but we were. The last of us. We walk on the ashes of an empire we thought would last well into eternity, and now we are here. Softness in softer water, tickled with light and lightness. Say what you will about ruling, but that's never who's having the most fun. We lived as gods, and we lived as people. Everyday people, not anything but admirers for how frosted over lids glitter at night, living for simple things. Trivial, simple things, the few good stories, the few good whispers in the dark. And we have nothing to teach you that you need to know. Now we only want to wish you luck in your conquering and hope that you fail eventually. Hope that you fail hard enough to be where we are in the depths of your ponds, our own bleeding suns, sinless now and bright. I know that you will never catch the world in your palms. You should only expect to catch a bad cold. I know that you are the last humans left, that these days we are living won't always keep coming, and I know that we sleep only to practice death. But more than that, I know that waking up is a miracle. Thank you.